Nina Marnie. Welcome everybody to the annual general meeting of Tutti Arts on the 24th of May 2023. So welcome to everyone here at Brighton, and also welcome to all those who are joining us on Zoom. How many people do we have on Zoom? That's great. Okay, welcome to them wherever they are, in Port Adelaide, the Barossa, or in their homes. We have a usual acknowledgement of country. Jackie's not able to be with us now, but I'll read out the acknowledgement that we use for all of our board meetings. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the place now called South Australia and all First Peoples living and working on this land. We celebrate the history and contemporary creativity of the world's oldest living culture and pay respect to elders, past, present and future. We acknowledge Kaurna, Purmank and Ngadjuri peoples on whose lands our events and activities are imagined, planned and held. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
Always was, always will be.
Right. We've got a very well-versed Tutti community, haven't we? We're going to be opening our meeting this evening with a performance by, thank God it's Friday, even though it's Wednesday. And so with support from Carol, I'll let them do their presentation.
Well, Izzy's paid. Okay.
Hi everyone, we're Thank God It's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday!
I'm Andy.
I'm Ali.
I'm Cameron.
I'm Amy.
I'm Caroline.
I'm Anika.
I'm Michelle. And we are thrilled to be performing for you today at Tutti's
Annual General Meeting.
1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, it's highly likely that we are going to be the most exciting venue here tonight.
Sorry, Andrew.
Sorry.
But seriously, we know how lucky we are to have a wonderful board and management team. And so, dear, we'd like to say,
Together, you're all I need to get by. 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 It's a question to make me happy. Ooh. Like the sweet morning dew, I took one look at you, and it was plain to see that you were my destiny. With my arms open wide, I throw away my pride, sacrifice for you, dedicate my love to you. Any time of me, and when I lose the will, push me up on you. No looking back for us. You're all that we know. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need. Baby, to get right. You all do that I like a tree. On the trophy, you are bound. Straight down. Don't know what's inside, but together we can open any door. Just to do what's good for you. I inspire you a little bit higher. We got the right foundation. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need.
Baby, baby. Yeah.
And because we're here for a good time, not a long time, here's one of our current
Recording in progress.
favourites. It goes a little something like this.
When I wake up in the morning, love, the sunlight hurts my eyes. Something without warning, love, it's heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. A lovely day. Seems impossible to face when someone else is ahead of me. Always seems to know the way. be. Always seems to know the way. When I look at you, when I look at you, when I look at you, and the world's all right, all right with me. Just one look at you, just one look at you, just one look at you, and I know it, and I know it.
It's gonna be a lovely day.
Thank you very much. Am I on? Yep. I agree, TGIF. You are a very hard act to follow. I think the rest of us are going to have a very hard act to follow, those of us that have to be up here this evening saying some words. But thank you so much. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Linda Williams. I'm the General Manager here at Tutti, and welcome. I'm just going to remind you of a few housekeeping things. I think most of you that are in the room are probably fairly familiar with Tutti here at Brighton, but for those of you who aren't, toilets and bathrooms are out through the main doors there and to the left. If there is an emergency and the fire alarms go off, please exit through those doors and follow the instructions of me, because I'm the fire warden on site at the moment. Probably the wrong colour. It's not quite, it's still high vis, this outfit. So, but thank you very much for coming, and welcome to the people who are on Zoom. So just a couple of housekeeping things as well. We need to have a registration of your attendance. So if we can make sure that everyone has signed in with Emily. Emily, do you want to pop up your hand for those who are here in person? And for those who are on Zoom, we need to make sure that Nicole knows who you are. Do you know the names of everyone that is on Zoom at the moment, Nicole? Fantastic. Okay, so that is great. We're not in COVID restriction time, but there is a lot of COVID around at the moment. We do have some masks down the back of the room if you feel so inclined. I always like to do a bit of a reminder about those, and you're welcome to wear a mask. We do have some official apologies that we've received for the AGM tonight. So the ones that I'm aware of are Caroline Hardy, who was here momentarily, but she's gone. Caroline Hardy, Ian Hardy, Anne Fisher, Charlene Fernando, Helen Fernando, Katie Maloney and Flame Maloney, Sam Garton, Jane Hewitt, Dougie Jacobson. It's Catherine Evans' birthday today, and she's got a birthday party, so we didn't plan that very well with the AGM, so we must consult Catherine next year, because I think we might be missing a few people because it's apparently Catherine's birthday. And Joe Claassen is also an apology. If there's any other apologies that people are aware of? Yes, so Lorcan Hopper is here just for a short time and we'll be leaving. Anyone else? Yes, Bree? Thank you, Bree. So Bree Transit will be here for just a small time. And Pat Ricks, is she not on Zoom? No? No. Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to hand over to Andrew now.
Thank you very much, Linda. Some of you may not attend many AGMs and want to know what an AGM's all about. It's really an opportunity for us as the board to provide feedback to you on what's been happening in the last year and what's maybe about to happen in the coming year. It's our way of being accountable to our members, and we would have well over 300 members in total. There'll be individual reports from myself and Treasurer, and that'll be followed by a joint report from our General Manager and Creative Director. And there's a couple of items of business. We need to appoint an auditor, and we need to elect members of the Tutti board. So that's what will be happening this evening. So the next item on our agenda, let me just put that one down, are the minutes of the previous meeting, and you will have received a copy of those. So this was the AGM held on the 25th of May 2022. The board looked at those about a month later and recommends that they be confirmed as a correct record. And so the motion is that the minutes of the AGM held on the 25th of May 2022 be confirmed as a correct record. Someone care to move that, please? Sean, thank you. And seconder from Julianne, thank you. All those in favour? By a show of hands, and on Zoom we've got plenty of hands there too. Thank you. All right, that's carried. Business arising from the minutes. I did pick out a couple of items there. One of them was that a suggestion that we have a 25th anniversary to celebrate 25 years of Tutti, and Tutti 25 was held on the 17th of November last year at Jackson Square, Hindmarsh. It was a great success. I've never seen so many people so enthusiastic and enjoying themselves so much. As much fun as TGIF we're having tonight. And the other item was that we needed to obtain quotes and appoint an auditor, and the board was given the responsibility of doing that. We did that, and we appointed Bentley's as our auditor for 2022. So now to go on to my own report. Really delighted to be able to report on the progress of Tutti in 2022 and to touch on what is coming ahead. It's just over 3 years now since we've been in these premises here at Brighton. We're already making full use of the upgraded facilities. In fact, we even have waiting lists for some of the programs, which we didn't anticipate when we first started here. Last year was another cautious year of living with COVID. And while most formal restrictions have been lifted, we remain ever vigilant. And I thank the staff, participants and families for the responsible ways in which you've all continued to help ensure the safety and well-being of everyone at Tutti. Creative artistic activities are running well at Brighton, also at Port Adelaide and in the Barossa, and both recent and long-term artists are active in one or more of our arts areas. We presently deliver programs to more than 200 NDIS funded participants. Now, last year was actually a tough year for Tutti. We didn't have the financial supports that had helped us through COVID, yet we were still having to cope with unexpected absences and running some of our programs in dual face-to-face and online delivery modes. And our Treasurer, Sean, will speak a little bit more about our finances shortly. But it was also a busy year for the board and the senior leadership team within Tutti. We had approval of our 2023 to 2026 strategic plan. Fantastic forward-looking document that many people contributed to. One of the outcomes of that was that it was able to help us in securing 4-year funding of $210,000 a year from Arts SA, starting this year, not last year, unfortunately. Further strengthening of our systems and our processes has occurred during that year, with updates to our policies and procedures. And it's worth noting that just last week we were visited by the NDIS audit panel. They do that occasionally and really run the ruler over us very, very tightly. And I thank all of those who had the opportunity to meet and share your experiences with them. So while their final report is still a few weeks away, Linda tells me we've passed with flying colours. So thank you for that, and congratulations to everybody who was involved. So I really congratulate the whole Tutti team for compiling and presenting convincing evidence, which is what they were looking for, of the ways in which Tutti is meeting and exceeding the NDIS performance criteria. While the auditors were going through their checklist, there were many appreciative smiles and comments from them related to Tutti's ambitious strategic plan, our prudent governance, our risk management, our effective systems, policies, procedures and practices. Interestingly, when we were asked how we dealt with complaints, Linda, Gail and I were hard-pressed to recall a major complaint from staff or participants, which speaks volumes for the supportive environment that we provide. Overall, Tutti has a great story to tell, and it's clear that the positive impression formed by the auditors during their 1.5 days with us was a validation of the sustained quality of the programs, opportunities, guidance and support that Tutti consistently offers and delivers to our artists throughout the year. Our extraordinary artist participants enjoy creating art at Tutti and have a positive, determined approach. It's been a real pleasure to see their progress and achievements and an increase in the number of high quality exhibitions and performances. I really admire our artists for the way in which they've taken to new technologies and social media to both keep in touch and develop their creative artistry. One area of increasing interest is Screen, which with Tutti's presently seeking funds to update our studio facilities, buy more cameras, computers and software so that there are enough for our talented emerging screen makers to tell their stories. And Linda and Gail may expand on that a little. Looking ahead, one of our main challenges is to broaden our income base by looking to both individual and corporate philanthropy and developing meaningful strategic partnerships. This will make Tutti a more robust organisation, able to continue to deliver our renowned range of holistic, person-centred services that go above and beyond those for which we charge. Linda and Gail will shortly expand upon our current and future artistic programs, and we look forward with optimism and determination to another stimulating, rewarding year in 2023. And we invite you all to be an active participant on our journey. Overall, I congratulate and thank Linda, Gail and our outstanding leaders, our fantastic staff and our responsive board and committees, as well as our fabulous artists and their families, who all contribute to the wonderful place which is Tutti. Happy to take any questions if there are any. All right. Would someone care to move that the President's report be adopted? Okay, thanks to Emily and Dino. Thank you. All those in favour? Right, thank you very much. Our next report is by our Treasurer, Sean Whelan. Sean's been our Treasurer for a number of years, and the financial reports for 2022 are attached to the papers that you will have received, and excerpts from the full financial report are attached. They've been approved by the board, and they've also been approved by Tutti's auditors, Bentley's. So I invite Sean to give his presentation.
Thank you, Andrew. Just getting us some fog on that. So yeah, numbers. An important part of, I guess, any organisation. Without money, we can't do what we need to do. So it's definitely a key part of, I guess, keeping Tutti afloat. So the financial statements have been included in part of the report. So there's extracts in there which you can refer to. But I thought I'd start tonight just giving a bit of an explanation with respect to the results for the year, because, yeah, it was a bit of a different year for Tutti. And I guess we started the year understanding that we were going to make a loss, which I guess when you think about it is a little bit unusual, but sometimes circumstances present themselves that you can't do anything about, but good planning hopefully gets you through that situation. So part of that reason is because I guess early in the year, Tutti was still dealing a lot with the impacts of, I guess, managing COVID and the implications and et cetera it had on our programs. When we started the budget, we realised that the year was going to be difficult, and we actually did anticipate that we were going to make a loss in the 2022 year of $305,000. So we understood 2022 was going to be a year for rebuilding. We'd made decisions to invest in people like Linda and Gail and other people in the organisation that had a cost, but with some good planning, things were going to work out. We've got a very exceptional board and finance team and other key people within Tutti who were aware of that financial outcome. They've been working tirelessly to make sure that we can, I guess, build on where we start and return Tutti to a profitable situation. Some good signs last year were that Tutti's programs resulted in a 8% increase in revenue. So there's some good growth for what we do. And even though we did budget for a loss, the end outcome was that we did end up with a loss that was some $65,000 better than we thought. So again, we did expect it, but we did get a good outcome. Sort of moving forward into this year, we've actually budgeted to break even. So we see that loss is sort of a bit of a one-off. And it's good to report that 3 months into this year, we're right on our budget. So the targets we've set ourselves, we're achieving. So hopefully it's onwards and upwards. So hopefully that sets a bit of a scene for, I guess, where Tutti has been for 2022. I'm now just going to run you through some of the detail with respect to some of those reports. So the first slide that we have is what is referred to as the total comprehensive income for the year ended 30 June 2022. So basically what that is it's our revenue from the various programs and grants and so forth that we receive. And then we've got a number of expenses associated with running those programs and running the business. So as I sort of mentioned before, for the year ended 31 December 22, we did incur a loss, $240,960, which was obviously significantly worse than the year before. But as I've hopefully tried to explain, we did expect to achieve that outcome, and we actually did do better than what we expected. So yeah, overall, it's been a good thing. Slide 2. So obviously revenue minus expenses gives you a financial position or return for the year. This slide here is just to basically show our participation fees and growth. So the majority of our income that Tutti runs comes from all the various programs. So our participation revenue is basically nearly $1.8 million, which is a pretty amazing figure, really. And that compares to about 1.65 million the year before. So we had some fantastic growth. So therefore, we're pleased to show that the growth in our participation fees confirms the changes we are implementing are working, and there's strong support for what we do. Okay, now slide 3. So yeah, so I just talked about participation fees. So yeah, that makes up a significant part of the income. The grant income is 24%, which is the pale green colour. But yeah, in the pink or purple, 73% is what comes from more people attending and doing what we do. And that's a pretty healthy figure and is on the increase, which is fantastic. Okay, then we go back. So, all right, so just focusing a little bit on expenses. So yes, like any business, there are costs. The most significant cost for Tutti is just, I guess, our human resources, all the people that work here and help everyone achieve and do the great things they do day in, day out. So our total expenses for the year ended 31 December 22 were $2,689,000 to be exact. And considering we've talked a lot about inflation and other costs increasing, I mean, to only really have a $60,000 or $80,000 increase is pretty amazing, and it just goes to show some of the good business management that's taking place here at Tutti. As far as one of the most significant, I guess, cost increases, which has really impacted on our level of expenses, is our depreciation, which is a bit of a funny thing. It's an accounting term, may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but this building has a cost associated with it, particularly the lift that we put in a year or so ago. And as far as accounting for that, we need to write that cost off over an annual basis over the periods that we're sort of here. So it's just a write-off of that cost. So it's a bit of a funny thing, but anyway, I won't go into any further unless you've got a question at the end. So slide 4. So basically, this is the statement of financial position. So it's a bit like a balance sheet. So this explains at a point in time what our assets are and our liabilities are. So a lot of our assets, for example, are cash. When we have people that owe us money from programs, etc., at month end, we have to collect those. So that's a receivable. We've got an investment portfolio, which is the financial asset up there on the board of 395,000. And then we've got our plant and equipment, which is various assets and also the lift, etc. So that's the bulk of what makes up our assets. And then liabilities, we've got just general expenses, trade payables, ATO payments, employee provisions, and grants in advance. So they're our major liabilities. And then when you take the assets away from liabilities, you then have a net position. So as at the 31st of December 2022, our total funds were 474,000, which was less than last year, which was 715. But unfortunately, that's just because that explains why we had that loss. And when you make a loss, your net position comes down. So, okay, that's that. And then last of all, this slide basically just shows the respective positions of some of our main assets on our balance sheet. And so the pink figures is last year. The pale yellow one is this year. So we've got a little bit less cash than last year. The exact cash figure as at the 31st of December was 629,840. Our financial assets are our investments. Property, plant and equipment, as I explained, is our physical assets and the lift, so forth. And then we've got the total. So really, that's probably the most of my report. I've tried to hopefully give you the high-level bits and pieces as to why we've had this outcome. So I guess in summary, we did make a loss this year, but it was anticipated. And as I explained before, we actually achieved a better result than we expected. We do have a healthy balance sheet as at the 31st of December, as explained by those pictures and diagrams up there. We've got some plans and systems have been put in place that will now bring Tutti back to at least a break-even position, and we're hoping for even better things than that. And I guess the team and everyone else continues to do an amazing job. So there's some good people here in Tutti, and everything's heading in the direction that it needs to be. And that's the end of my report.
Thanks very much, Sean. Does anyone have any questions of Sean? All right. As I mentioned before, the finance reports have all been through the board and our auditors as well. So the motion that I'd like to see moved and seconded is that the meeting endorse the audited financial report for 2022. Someone care to move that? Carol? And seconded? Jane? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Those in favour? Anyone against? That's carried. Thank you very much. The next item is the appointment of the auditor, which is one of the responsibilities of the general meeting. And as we mentioned before, Bentley's were appointed as our auditor for 2022. They've learnt a lot about Tutti during the time they were conducting the audit. And we believe that in order to maintain continuity and to take advantage of that we appoint them for a further year. And so the motion is that the Bentleys be appointed as auditor for 2023. Does anyone wish to move that, please? Thank you, Julian, and Sean seconded. Any discussion about that? Okay, if not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour that Bentleys be appointed as our auditor? And anyone against? That's carried. Thank you very much. Next to probably the most exciting part of the evening, that's the General Managers and Creative Directors combined report with Linda and Gail. So I'll hand over to them.
We're doing a combined act again. It's our thing we do. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Our vision is to see learning disabled and neurodiverse people seize their rightful place at the centre of arts and culture. Our purpose is to shine the light on the astonishing art of learning disabled and neurodiverse people. We value diversity, authenticity, imagination, experimentation, connection, and impact.
In 2022 at Tutti, we finalised our strategic and our creative plan, which lasts for 4 years. The plan takes us towards 2026 with confidence in who we are, what we do, and why we do it, and where we're heading. We will experiment, we'll encourage, and we'll seek new possibilities. We will work and appear in unexpected places, in public and online. So in our strategic plan, we have 3 key goals. The first goal is to build our capacity for creative pathways for learning disabled and neurodiverse people. And we'll talk a little bit more about pathways a bit later in our presentation. Our second goal is to be recognised as leaders in producing the creative works of learning disabled and neurodiverse artists. And our third one is for us to be financially sustainable, organisationally robust, and commit to business innovation. So in our new creative plan, we focus on things like arts and technology, partnerships, and building a design studio. Tutti's 2023 to 26 strategic plan includes an exciting and new direction that will see us make a lasting impact on South Australia's cultural landscape. And at the end of the day, we choose to place learning disabled and neurodiverse people at the centre of arts and culture.
An outstanding creative highlight in 2022 and a project that we're very proud of was Reaching Out. Reaching Out was a pilot project that saw learning disabled and neurodiverse visual artists work side by side with non-disabled peers, artistically responding to 3 leading cultural institutions. Firstly, in February, was Nutritional Index, an alternative guided tour of the Art Gallery of South Australia, created by Kurt Bezzecchi and Emmeline Zanelli, which won the 2022 Fringe Best Visual Art and Design Award. Kurt and Emmeline were then commissioned to create a visual essay for ArtLink. They then worked with filmmaker Eloise Hollebeck to create a 2-channel screen work. Ready for the title? Impressive and vibrant fantasy buffet, 5 essential rules to help achieve an Augustin Rodin torso in under 2 months.
That was Kurt's doing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Kurt's doing. I love his titles. Anyway, it was installed at the Art Gallery of South Australia for the 2022 Sala Festival. So then the artist went on to win the City of Adelaide Incubator Award and the Unit Care Services Digital Media Award at the Sala Awards. It's been so successful. In July, Jackie Saunders and Laura Will's exhibition Mineral Lines was presented by the South Australian Museum. Inspired by the magic of minerals in the South Australian Museum's collection, which I think is something like over 32,000 at the launch, that was in my speech, and I actually said, is there 32 minerals in their collection? It's a bit embarrassing. I got corrected. Yeah. Jackie and Laura created an exhibition full of dynamic and colourful works on paper and a large collaborative mural. It was absolutely stunning. And then Mineral Lines went on to receive a judge's commendation for the Advertiser Contemporary Art category in the 2022 Sala Awards. Following, in August, Carrickhill presented Fantasy Estate by artists William Gregory and Marwa. Delving into the history and folklore of 1930s estate, Carrickhill, Fantasy Estate took visitors on a fantastical adventure. William and Marwa used installation, drawing, and augmented reality to illuminate Carrickhill's curious past and add a touch of fantasy. That exhibition opening was attended by the Governor of South Australia, Her Excellency Frances Adamson, Federal Member Louise Miller-Frost, and City of Mitcham Mayor Dr. Heather Holmes-Ross. The exhibition generated strong digital engagement through the use of the augmented reality. It was beautiful. Then we had lots more highlights. So Tutti Visual Arts presented another 12 solo and group exhibitions in 2022, featuring artists from Brighton, Port Adelaide and the Barossa. Other highlights included the Sisters of Invention, who launched their second album, Stranger, at the Lab in April, a hip-hop masterclass facilitated by Elle Fresh the Lion and Mirror, two of Australia's outstanding hip-hop artists. Quirkestra had a great year and they performed at 2 exhibition openings. One was at the Bearded Dragon Gallery and another one at Ace Open. And I'm just going to mention Matt Morrison, the music coordinator who runs Tutti, who runs Quirkestra. Congratulations. Yeah, Arts Tutti. Who runs Tutti? Someone needs to. Yeah. Singing group, thank God it's Friday, which you saw earlier tonight, delivered 9 performances last year. The Tutti Choir sang at the Barossa Co-op, and Poco Tutti performed the Christmas sing-along at the Adelaide Festival Centre, Chamber Music on the Terrace, and the Big Sing. And our acting program presented a showing of Freak Out at the Brighton Performing Arts Centre. Sit Down and Shut Up and Watch Screen Festival presented their 5th festival, something a little bit different. Plus, there was heaps more. It was an amazing creative year.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
It was tiring.
Yeah, a bit tiring. And this is our pullback version. We're all doing too much. We need to pull it in.
So a few other things from an organisational perspective. So in 2022, after 5 years, after 5 years after Tutti first started providing arts programs in the Barossa, we finally moved into our own home in Murray Street in Neurodiverse. So having a home base in the Barossa for Tutti's exclusive use is wonderful, and it provides artists and staff with space to work and to collaborate, and it gives us the opportunity to expand our programs in the Barossa beyond the existing visual arts program and the screen program. And in 2022, we subsequently expanded our staff team in the Barossa as well. Another exciting project that commenced in 22, and it's not quite finished yet, is what we call Tutti Pom Pom. We've been working really closely and collaboratively with Carclew Youth Arts to revise, renew and find new ways of working working with young people who are neurodiverse and learning disabled. We've been creating resources to best support creative practice and utilising that in our Tutti Kids and Youth program, and also providing resources for Karklu's Pom Pom program as well. So that's been an exciting place. Something that we've been really focusing on, and we mentioned it earlier, was about pathways and really trying to define where Tutti's programs sit. We are redefining our program levels, entry criteria and pathways for individuals and groups. So the learning disabled and neurodiverse people come to Tutti with a variety of different life experiences. And some people want to come here just to try something new or to have a bit of fun. And others come here really wanting to engage on a professional pathway. And so we needed to try and find a way to try and navigate that and make sense of that, and provide people with the pathways that they need. So we're doing a lot of work with the coordinators and really defining and refining what we're doing. We have a small but beginning number of programs that are in what we call the Discover programs, which are for people that have not had any previous experience or who need extra support to access a program. So in 2022, we introduced the Let's Dance program, which was an entry-level dance program for people who wanted to try dance, and that's been really successful. And also the Ready, Set, Go visual arts program, which is a no experience necessary, just have to have a vague interest in visual arts and an interest in working together and collaboratively. But we also need to provide pathways in the professional stream, and we have many, I guess, aspirational artists here at Tutti. So some of the new programs that fall under the professional pathways are Open Studio, which has been an entry-level visual arts program, but for people who've had some experience and really show some potential in the area of visual arts. We also have the Beats workshops. Now, Beats was first established at Access to Arts by Gail Mellis. Fortunately, through some discussions last year with Access to Arts, we received the Beats program, which was great. So we now are running the Beats program here as part of Tutti on a fortnightly basis, led by Tyson Hoprick. And these fortnightly workshops are an opportunity for people to learn to beatbox, DJ, host club nights, and connect through the world through technology. So that's some of our other new programs that have been happening in the professional stream. In 2022, see you later, Tutti artists earned collectively $82,000 through either selling their artwork or performing. I reckon that's pretty awesome. And in particular, there's been an increase in the sale of visual artwork, but there were a lot of performances, particularly towards the end of last year, wasn't there? Like suddenly coming out of COVID. But yeah, it's a pretty good number. I'm very excited about that. And Andrew did already mention this. In October, we were successful in getting the multi-year arts funding, and that represents $210,000 a year, and that will go a long way towards helping us to get back to a break-even position. So we're very pleased and about that, as well as some of the other things that we're doing to continue to improve our productivity and revenue generation. Last year was Tutti's 25th birthday. It was 25 years since Tutti was first established by Pat Ricks. We celebrated with a party at Jackson Square. We saw projected on the walls over 100 self-portraits by Tutti artists, which was great. Talked about the strategic plan and had a big birthday cake. And it was a fun night hosted by the Heartbeat Club and some of our own DJs. So that was certainly a great night. And we were joined by Louise Miller-Frost and Sarah Andrews, both MPs, for those celebrations. So that's really great. Yes.
So we'd just like to say a huge thanks to our amazing artists and staff. And I'm looking at some staff over here because
and some over
here. Thank you so much. And what an awesome year for Tutti. And we're just going to finish again with our manifesto, which you'll see on the screen. We imagine, we dream, we think, we do. We are curious, we experiment, we take risks, we tell our stories. People are infinitely diverse. Art should be too. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Carol wants to ask a really annoying question. I can just tell. Oh, good.
Can I please sit here?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Carol?
Excellent.
Completely understand that.
Yeah. Excellent. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Andrew, I'll let you do this next bit and then Gail will stay here. She's going to introduce the next bit.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Linda and Gail, for a very comprehensive ride through the activities of Tutti in 2022 and promises of what's to come. I think you need to get your tickets early for some of these shows now. Just fantastic to see such high level of activity. Gail, the Tutti annual report. How's that going?
Do you want to? Do you have to? You do.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay. Sorry. That's right. The recommendation is that the combined general manager and creative director report be adopted. Who'd like to move that? Not too many hands. Rachel and Carol. Okay. Thank you. Those in favour? Right. Well done. Thank you. Now to the annual report.
Yeah. Want to show you our annual report cover that's on the screen. The 2022 annual report is now available online on the Tutti website. So when you get home, you can have a look at it. The hard copy version won't be available for a couple of weeks. But with this, there's two people I particularly want to acknowledge. One is Emily. Oh, she moved. That's like magic. Incredible, and love working with you, Emily, but incredible work on the annual report. And we also want to acknowledge Marwa, who did our annual report last year and was on staff here, but Marwa's gone to Indonesia. And she said she's to work with Emily and I, so we got her onto it, and that's been great as well. So I really hope you enjoy the annual report this year, and yeah, have a look at it. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Gail. I'm going to hand over to Linda now for the next two items on our agenda. The first of which is the presentation of the Judy Daly Volunteer Award.
Thank you. I'm back again. And I forgot to print out my words for this, so this is going to be off the top of my head. Some of you, many of you may know that each year at Tutti, we do give an award for a volunteer who's made an outstanding contribution to Tutti. It's called the Judy Daly Volunteer Award because Judy Daly has spent many and volunteered many hours here at Tutti, working with in the early days of Tutti, and had worked on building the literacy skills of many of our artists. So in tribute to Judy Daly, we have this award that we give every year. And this year, we would like to give this award to a young person who comes and volunteers at Tutti Kids and Youth each week or fortnight, and that is Neve Dutch. I did ask some of the people who work in Tutti Kids and Youth to just tell me a little bit about the great work that Neve does. And these were the things I learned about you, Neve. And I've known you a little bit for the last couple of years. But Neve is extremely reliable and hardworking. Always comes when she says she's going to. She's excellent at helping setting up all the materials, really good at supporting people with their own work and their own ideas in Tutti Kids and Youth, and excellent at packing up and helping to get everything packed up at the end of an art class, and that's a lot of work. So yeah, and that she is absolutely delightful, has lots of energy, and everyone loves her. So well done, Neve. Sounds like Carol loves her too. Yes.
Whilst Neve has been volunteering, she's also completed her certificate 3 in childcare and
Early education.
and has started a job at a childcare centre.
Rosemont House Montessori Early Learning in Norwood.
Yay.
And I've been working 6.5 months now. So.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And of course, for those of you who don't know, Neve is in the Tutti choir. And when we went looking,
used to be in Poco, but
now she has to work. She's a worker.
oh, look, I know what that's
I
like.
used to do both choirs, but now I'm doing one. So.
Yeah. But congratulations, Neve.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate everything that you do. And I'm on the next bit as well, aren't I, Andrew? Yep, let me just turn the page. Right, so now we are on to the election of the board members. This is a process that we have to do. Our board members do sign up for a term of 2 years at any one time. So presently on our board, we have Anne Weiberg, Matthew Shilcock, Paul Kirkwood, and Sean Whelan, who are all continuing as elected board members for a further year. So they're only 1 year into their 2-year term. I have to always check I've got this detail right. But we have some other board members, of whom are here tonight, who have completed their 2-year term, and that is Andrew Downing. We know who he is. Julianne Kuhlman. I think we know who she is. Dino Verinios, he's over here. They've completed their 2-year term, and they have each of those 3 have been nominated as a member for the board for a further 2-year term. Beth Neat, wave Beth, is our newest board member. On the 21st of July last year, she came onto the board to fill a casual vacancy, and Beth is eligible to be reappointed and has been nominated as a member of the board for a 2-year term. So my job now is to make a recommendation that Andrew Downing, Beth Neat, Julianne Kuhlman and Dino Verinios be elected as members of the Tutti board for a 2-year term. So is there someone who would like to? Yes. I'm sorry, I can't see who you are with your mask. Oh, Margot. Hello, Margot. Didn't recognise you. And someone to second that? And your name? Marie Klassen, of course. Okay, so thank you. All those in favour? Everyone has their hand up. That's excellent. Thank you very much. All right, now I think we hand back to Andrew.
Did you want to talk about the screen fundraiser?
I can talk about the screen fundraiser. Are you happy for me to do that? Yep. He was going to read my words, but I might as well read our words. Yeah. So at Tutti, we have many talented emerging screen makers, and they want to tell their stories on screen. There are not many disabled people on the screen or behind the scenes, off the screen. And considering there's 4.4 million disabled Australians, that's really not great. They're not very well represented. Disability representation is seriously lacking in screen. An Australian screen should show how diverse Australia is. So we would like people to help us tell our stories on the screen. At Tutti, we offer a screen program for learning disabled and neurodiverse screen makers to create and tell their stories. And there are so many people wanting to learn about working in screen that this year we've added 2 more programs. So one that just started this week and one that started earlier in the year. So we now have 4 screen programs. But we do need money to update our studio facilities, update our equipment, including cameras, computers and software. So this is our fundraising campaign that we are launching. We're hoping that we can encourage people to make donations before the end of the financial year. And so you can do that by following that QR code. And we'll share that further. So if you take a little photo of that, that will take you through to the link to donate to our screen fundraiser. So thank you. Over to
Thanks very much, Linda. I just checked the link and it works. So. Right. That brings us to the end of the meeting. Are there any other items that anyone wanted to ask about? Any questions? All right. You can always contact us at any time. Come along and visit us at Tutti, or contact any of the board members or senior staff like Linda and Gail or Emily and others. And I've got a long list of people to contact, yeah, especially Jane. Yeah. Yeah. So in closing tonight, I do want to thank Linda and her busy team, Gail, Jane, Emily, Matt, Nicole, Belinda, who's not been well today, but I know does a lot of work behind the scenes, TGIF and Carol Young, and all the others who have helped set up things for tonight and done a lot of the preparation work behind the scenes. We just don't see half of what goes on within Tutti. We see the front face of Tutti, but we don't often see the back of house things at Tutti. But we've got a fantastic team here that we're really, really proud of, and I think the NDIS team would have realised that when they were here a week or two ago. So with that, thank you very much for your attendance this evening, and I declare the meeting closed, and I invite the board members to have a short board meeting in the...
Now we're going to go into the small performing arts space. So,
okay.
We might just need some...
They don't have to audition first, do they? Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much to everyone else, and have a safe evening, and see you at the next Tutti event.
After midnight, we're gonna let it all hang out. After midnight, we're gonna cheer love and shine. We're gonna cause talk and suspicion, give an exhibition, find out what it is all about. After midnight, we're gonna let it all hang out. After midnight, gonna shake your tambourine. After midnight,